right. So last time, it's been a while, but you guys had a little bit of downtime before you went to investigate the bridge down to the south. I think you guys had intended on going through the tunnels again. Favyon very intent on keeping your schedule, getting you to the tunnels in a timely manner. And of course, as soon as that became known, people went downstairs, got some eggs for breakfast, had a conversation with the bartender about where the eggs come from, because almost everything on the menu uses eggs for some reason.
And I didn't take notes. It was a fucking egg venture.
Yeah. It was a very important egg venture.
It was a very important egg venture. And the bartender pointed you toward the one major farm in town, the Black Meadow Nursery, that had eggs for sale. And immediately, a lot of people were like, that's suspicious. So you decided to go and investigate, despite Favyon's protesting, because he wanted to stick to his schedule. It was very important to him. You went to the Black Meadow Nursery. You found that it was something magical. Like, you could sense magic going into it. I think at least one person did. I want to say it was Raina. Maybe it was Ori.
I think I sensed it, but then Ori picked something else up.
Yeah. And so you went through, you met a chicken. I think you called her Hilda, even though you didn't know her real name.
It's Hilda to me and will be always in my heart.
It's understandable. And cast Identify on the chicken to learn that she was in fact a simulacrum. She was not a natural-born chicken. She was a copy of a chicken. Notably, you did not check any other chickens. You only checked the fattest chicken that you saw.
Yep,
it'd be like that.
You eventually talked to some farm hands. They gave information about how nice it is to work there and how great Mrs. Blackmeadow is. Favyon went inside and spoke to Mrs. Blackmeadow, mentioned that they were just kind of looking around, wanted some information to talk, got some tea. The rest of you, I believe, met Mr. Blackmeadow, who was out in the farm itself, where you could see them magically growing corn and grains and things like that to feed to the chickens. And then you also met their butler and were able to have a brief conversation with Mrs. Blackmeadow, in which, as you went to leave, she noticed the symbol that was tattooed onto Ori's neck, that I believe the only person in the party who has noticed it up to that point had been Eurydice. Is that right?
I think so.
And asked her how the coven was doing, and specifically said to say hello to her Aunt Cersei. And Ori, I think a little taken aback, said pretty much nothing, and booked it out of said house. And there was a brief conversation about what the hell that meant. Not much was resolved. And then we pushed onwards to the actual bridge and to the tunnels. You guys made it to the bridge right around nightfall, because it's about a day's travel. Along the way, meeting Limo, a lemonade-selling tiefling man, who just kind of vanished into thin air after selling you his lemonade, just disappeared into the grasslands, which is very odd considering how dangerous that area is. And then you decided to take a rest right before going into the tunnel, so you slept for the night. And then that is where we left off. You are at the bridge. The four of you are just vibing. And you have some tunnels waiting for you. What would we like to do?
Eat some eggs. Did we bring eggs with us?
We're not eating the eggs anymore.
Hey, I don't know anything. You guys didn't fill me in. I was not there for the identify of any of the chickens.
The eggs are suspicious.
They're eggs.
Oh, turns out though, chickens, simulacrums.
Make good eggs. Wait. This is a Maddie thought, not a Favyon thought. If they're simulacrums, are the eggs also simulacrums, and so we're not getting any nutrition from them? Like, I have eaten so many eggs that I would know if I'm getting any nutritional value out of them.
So then stop eating them.
And see what changes.
Nothing would change if I'm not getting any nutritional value.
Oh, but that is actually a good question, because what if the eggs are, like, manipulating people?
Did anyone take an egg?
Let's be honest, Favyon probably has eggs in his bag.
At least I'm already scrambled eggs. I meal prepped for this adventure.
I just had a chicken in my stomach.
Just pull a chicken out of the alcohol pocket.
I mean, we could cast Identify on the scrambled eggs.
I pull
Do
out
that, I
a
guess.
bag of scrambled eggs.
Just like a Ziploc bag. You can cast Identify on the scrambled eggs, your egg bag. And Raina, you're specifically casting it?
Yeah.
I think Identify cares about magical properties, is that correct?
Hold on. Let's pull it up. In a hot second since I've
Don't
looked at
you dare
any
fucking
spell.
tell me that cooking the eggs fries off the magical abilities like it would for alcohol. That shit would be so wild.
Interesting. So you do, by casting Identify, you do learn that it is in fact magically imbued. It is not itself a magic item, but its properties are essentially a I don't know what school of magic it falls into, but it is essentially some form of like magical change. It is designed to affect one's mind.
Oh, God.
Hey? I'm shitting the eggs. It's turning the people bad. That didn't work the way I wanted it to.
Fabian, I do not know if you want to actually know this, but apparently eggs are magic, and they are designed to affect
They need
your
so
mind.
much nutrition, huh? Yeah,
No,
it makes your brain grow. Protein.
no, not like that.
Okay.
Bad effect.
Like,
Hey, do you mind the dog?
he's not going to throw away the eggs. He's just going to pack them back in his bag.
This is Azzy.
Okay.
We could find you another chicken somewhere, like a real chicken.
We're going to find out that chickens don't actually exist on this plane of existence.
No, they're not quail.
What the fuck is the quail?
Exactly. What is a quail?
Quail aren't real.
Quail aren't real. True.
I'm gonna take the scrambled eggs out of Raina's hand real quick and just chuck them.
You already put
them away.
What?
You can't mess with a man's eggs. That's fucked up.
At this point, just let it happen.
No
This is
more
already
mind
happened.
scrambling.
Ba-doom-ts.
Just mind goblin.
Mind goblins. Joke's on you, that's BBG.
BBG.
Mind goblin these eggs. Maybe just deep throats them.
I do have one more point of contention about the interaction that we had with Mrs. Blackmeadow. As she's gonna look at Ori. What do you know about hags?
What do I know about hacks? Let's find out.
I mean, you're not Ori, but you can still roll a history check, I guess.
I mean, well, she looked at Ori, but she's saying it to everybody. I don't know anything.
Okay.
I would also like to roll. I have not rolled in quite some time. I do not know anything.
Yeah, but Eurydice and Ori sure do, don't they?
I mean, I guess I know as much as like. I mean, I don't know much about like her as a hag because like I didn't really pick up on that until the very end. So, I mean, I guess I know some.
Wait. Is she a hag?
Maybe.
The black metal.
Truth. Eurydice is gonna sit down and start playing with the dagger, like with her nails. You know how like Aelin would do? Yeah. I am not moving until she starts telling the truth.
I mean,
Mrs. Blackmeadow mentioned that you were part of a coven. Covens are hags. Explain.
I don't think she implied that I was part of the coven, that I knew the coven, which I think is different.
Question. Is this a right now emergency conversation?
Yes, and here's why. Because if she is related to hags and is hiding it, hags are very dangerous. I don't want to go in the tunnels with her if she's keeping secrets.
Everyone is keeping secrets. Kind of our thing.
Yeah, but I feel like the secrets that you and I are keeping are a little less dangerous than they. At least in terms of the way that they can impact each other.
That is what you think. That's all right. Look, Ori, perhaps it would be good to explain the connection to the hags.
Making an insight check on her.
Please.
So this is
I got an 18.
So
but
Ori, this is you. So if she's making an insight check, you can make a persuasion check, you can make a deception check. You don't have to tell me which one. Or you can just straight up say that whatever she believes is, like, she can believe that Ori's telling the truth, she can believe that Ori's lying, depending on your own interpretation of the situation.
Okay. So I should roll for, like,
Persuasion
roll against.
Or deception.
Okay.
Again, your choice. You don't have to tell us what you roll.
Okay. Well, it was
an 18 on her insight.
Yeah. Well, it was a crap roll, so I think she's going to be suspicious. Because.
Well, what was the roll?
It was a nat 1, so it was.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So
from your point of view, then, as Ori, would you say that with Eurydice's 18 on her insight, would you say that she believes what Ori is saying?
I mean, probably not because of the numbers.
Would she believe her enough to get up?
I guess it would be a like. I guess it would be sort of a like. Eurydice doesn't believe Ori, but can tell that Ori's also not sure, and she's just trying to say what she can to like get them moving, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like to just reassure and like move on.
Okay, she would probably be like, point the dagger at her and be like, I'll go into the tunnels, but I'm watching you.
Okay. Fair enough.
So,
all right, we ready to go?
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes, let's go into the tunnels. It'll make Favyon happy since we threw away his eggs.
No, I have the eggs.
You didn't.
You didn't get the eggs. I already put the eggs back in the bag.
You should not eat those eggs.
You didn't eat those eggs. You're dead. You don't need to eat. Some of us need to eat.
Do I need to eat?
I think so.
I still need to eat, but I'm not eating those fucking eggs.
More eggs for me. I'm gonna start undoing what we did on top of that hole.
I'll help out.
So we'll have both of you make a quick athletics check. See how quickly we can uncover the hole.
Cover the hole.
Not fast on me, 7.
And what'd you get, Favyon?
17.
17. But we'll say it's fast enough. You're able to, within, say, 45 minutes or so, kind of clear away the little covering you put over the top of the hole. And you can look down into this, essentially, pit of stone that ends in a tunnel. And you can see the mound of sand that had formed underneath it. For everyone who's looking in the hole, I think it's everyone who doesn't have dark vision. Is it? I know Favyon doesn't. Ori doesn't.
Hell, that's racism. I might
I
have it.
don't know if Warforged have it.
I'm pretty sure it's just
What a wild campaign.
Eurydice.
One of 4
Yeah.
vision.
Yeah,
Holy
because
crap.
like I'm pretty sure if we had this conversation.
Okay, well then.
Yeah, I don't.
Everybody make a quick perception check. Everyone at disadvantage except for Eurydice.
I got a nat 1, dog.
You like how
My
I
mind is
could've
taken over by the eggs.
advantage instead of giving everyone disadvantage?
Yeah, why'd you do that?
It's
Fuck you.
Some gigs.
Funny.
Okay, so nat 1,
8.
8,
14.
14, Eurydice,
I got an 11.
11. So Ori then would be the only one to notice it because you needed a 12 or higher, unfortunately. Looking down into this pit, and there's this like giant mound of sand that essentially fell into the pit when it was uncovered by the giant that you slayed. You see a lot of little footprints dotting all over this mound of sand. And they're various shapes and sizes. You can't quite make out what belongs to like what creature or who, but there are a lot of them. So it looks as though quite a few creatures have clambered about on this sand.
Interesting. I guess Ori would comment that glad we covered this up because it looks like there's been some activity.
Do we notice it now that she's pointed it out?
Yeah, once you
pointed it out.
see it a little bit better.
Oh. This is like the busy place.
Okay. How we getting into the hole, team?
How deep is it again? I forgot how deep we dug.
It's pretty deep. So you guys only really dug through sand, and then it eventually turns into rock, and the rock is like tunneled down. So you're looking at maybe like 30 feet down to the mound of sand, and then that mound of sand is like 30 feet tall. It's a giant pile of sand that fell through this hole.
Mm-hmm.
So to get all the way to the bottom of the tunnel, you'll about 60 feet.
Well, last time I checked, I pull out my rope of climbing.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, how long does your rope of climbing go?
Let's find out. I think it's like 60 feet. I'm not sure, though.
Rope of climb. Oh, I accidentally...
60 feet.
60 feet. Well, look
Yeah.
at you. Perfect. Can hold up to
Excellent.
3,000 pounds.
Good, that is me and one other person. I'm kidding. Not that heavy, I don't think.
That's a character choice. But yeah. So you speak the command word and just drop this rope into the pit.
Yep.
So I will say it will, like, land on the mound of sand and then kind of like slowly go down it. So you could hit the sand and like rappel down that if you need to. But
Do that.
you can very easily get all the way to the bottom of the pit with it.
Alright, Eurydice, you can see better in the dark. Would you like to go down first?
Sure. Why not? I'll
Okay.
go down first, and then once I'm down there,
Okay. So you start climbing down. So I'm going to ask you to you can make your stealth check and then also make a perception check once you get down the pit.
The stealth is only 11. But the perception is a dirty 20.
Okay. Okay. So you climb down into this pit, trying to be as quiet as you can. It's a little bit tough because, like, once you hit the mound of sand in the pit, you can very clearly hear some of the sand fall away as you step on it, which makes your stealth a little bit rough. But looking into the tunnel itself, which stretches in two separate directions, so you go forward, you can go backward. But looking into the darkness itself, you see in one direction, so like we'll say the northern direction, a very, very faint light glowing way, way down in the tunnel. The other direction, you see no lights at all.
So one direction there's lights, one direction there's...
Yes, one direction there are very faint, very dim lights.
Lights are not lights. They in the tunnel now.
If they want to
Not
be.
yet. Do we have to roll anything?
No, with the rope of climbing, you're fine.
Okay, cool. So I'll go down next then.
Okay, you go down as well. Once Eurydice points it out, you can also see the light in the distance.
Personally, I would prefer going to the light, but this is not just my decision.
Well, let's see what everyone else says, because I feel like the light is probably the better end. Anyway, I imagine the not light is just the end of the tunnel.
This is perfect.
I mean, I'll climb down. I have torches. Friends.
This will be nice.
We want to light the torches because that will attract attention to us.
So we'll clambering around in the dark. I don't sneak.
True.
I'm a giant metal woman.
Yeah, you can hear
Not in my repertoire.
Favyon and Raina climb down.
So maybe the big boys hold the torches and the sneaky boys can be sneaky.
That's a good
I
idea.
like this idea.
High five, big boys.
Can Orpheus have dark vision?
I don't know. I've never had to know in D&D if crows have dark vision.
But he's not a normal crow, so like you need to make that decision.
Yeah, I'm aware. I know how that works. But he is in the body of a crow. That's the... No, he does not have dark vision.
Okay.
Just for clarity, Raina, what armor do you have today?
I am defensive. I'm a guardian.
Okay, sounds good. So you don't get the bonuses to sneak. Gotcha.
No.
And then Eurydice, what ability did you get? Thing.
Oh, that's a good question.
Gotta figure that out since the start of a new day. If there's anything you guys need to do for the
I'm preparing my spells.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah. No, you're good.
I would have done this before we went down, but I forgot.
Yes.
I forgot.
Probably investigation.
Okay, sounds good.
Here.
Mark that down. And then Ori
It
doesn't
was
have to prepare
insane.
anything at the start of a day. Benefits to being a barbarian. All right. So Raina, Favyon light up some torches. You notice as you light the torches themselves, like when you're in an underground tunnel or like a cave or something, you can typically sense a direction of like air, right? And the flames. You can very clearly tell that there is air coming from the hole above you. But you also kind of notice that it doesn't seem to really be coming from anywhere else. There's no other breezes in this tunnel. There's no like.
Is it just like still? Like
it's just
eerily still?
Still.
Okay.
Like uncomfortably so.
Oh, this stillness will not be here for long.
And Raina starts blowing air.
I turn one of my arms into a fan. Just like...
All right. You guys are going down the north passageway toward the distant light?
Yeah.
Okay. As a point of order, the tunnel itself is very large. It's roughly like 30 by 30. So if you all chose to walk side by side, you could. If you want to walk single file, that's fine. If you want 2 and 2, that's fine.
Do we want to send Sneaky Boy ahead?
Also fine.
Without the light?
Yeah, I figured I would go ahead.
Big boys go slower, sneaky boys go first.
Yeah, things have changed. You can go ahead and roll another stealth check.
23?
I was going to say, that's high as shit. Okay. So, pulling up my...
I'll bring Orpheus with me on my shoulder. That way if I see anything that, like, we would want to check out or, like, seems like it could be bad, I'll send him back.
Okay. So you start making your way forward. Is the rest of the group staying, like, a certain amount of space behind her, or are you just kind of, like, letting her go? And
Dog, we can't see her. It don't matter what we want.
I feel like we're just moving at our pace.
I couldn't see her even. Well, let's see. What is my percent? I would have to get a nat 20, but at disadvantage, I'd have to get 2 nat 20s to see her. I don't care. Don't go too far.
All right.
Well, hear the screams.
I mean, you guys could, like, tie a rope to me and have me on, like, a leash in case something happens.
Put up the electric fencing, dog.
Should we keep the rope up, or should we take it with us?
Not.
How are we gonna get out? Thoughts?
I mean, I can just go. I can make it go up.
And hook on to what?
It's a rope for climbing.
It doesn't.
It does not need to hook up.
Oh,
it does not.
Yeah, then take it. Then take it. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I take it.
You do so. All right. So you're going to see you start walking down this tunnel, and just for everybody's sake, as you kind of like start to move, you feel this almost overwhelming sense of just stillness and quiet. It is unnervingly, like, all of your senses, it feels like, are kind of just gone. You can barely see, you don't hear anything, you don't feel anything other than the stone under you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does Eurydice need to breathe?
That is a question I don't know if I have an answer to. Sounds like a character choice to me.
I imagine she wouldn't.
Okay, sure. It's fine by me. Either way, most of your senses seem to be just not relevant in the tunnels. It almost feels like if you were to close your eyes, there would be no difference having them open or closed. The only difference that you see is the very, very faint. And it doesn't look like torchlight. It's not flickering in any way. Like, if you turn around and you see your friends with their torches, like, it's glowing. But the light in front of you is fixed in one location, not moving. And as you approach closer and closer, you eventually come to a fork in the road. Essentially like a 4-way intersection. You get to a point where there are 2 tunnels that curve off to the left and to the right, and then you have the tunnel that is still straight ahead of you. Looking down each of them, you see the light still further on in the path moving forward, but you do not see a light in either of the 2 to the sides.
So I'll stop and wait for them to catch up. Because I don't want to make the fork in the road decision by myself.
Okay. Are you telling them to catch up, or?
I'll send Orpheus to go like, get them.
Okay.
But also, like, they'll eventually run.
I don't think they were moving.
Are you guys
We
moving?
were.
Are you?
Yeah,
I
we're
assume
moving,
we
like
were.
walking at a regular pace.
Okay. I misunderstood what was happening. Sure, that's fine. You guys eventually catch up, finding Eurydice at this 4-way intersection. And you guys also feel like the same stillness in these tunnels. For those of you who've got the torch's light extends. I want to say it's like 30 feet and then an extra 30 with dim light. But at the barriers of where the torchlight cuts off is just blackness. It is just absolutely
So, light, I'm assuming?
I want to stick the torch down, like, each kind of side to see if we see any of that movement, like, where there's air or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, sure. Make a survival check.
18?
18. You kind of like go to each of the openings in the tunnels, and to the left, it's still incredibly still. Same thing with the one leading forward where the light was. You get a little bit of movement if you go to the one that you from, presumably also from the giant hole in the ceiling. But to the right, there's a very, very faint gust of wind that just ever so gently shifts your torch.
Well, if we want to go where there's perhaps an opening, it would be the right. There's wind coming from that direction.
Can I do a perception check for, like, going down the different tunnels, if there's markings or footsteps or, like, signs that things have been moving down those paths?
I'll look too.
Yes, I believe that would be a survival check, because you're looking for signs.
Sign in life, okay.
Jen?
A 14.
14. I think survival for, because if you're checking for like footsteps and stuff, that's survival.
Sure. 12.
12 and a 14. It's difficult to tell because this is just like solid stone standing on. But we'll say with the 2 of you combined looking, you do eventually notice that to the leftmost passage, there's a very faint marking in the wall. Like someone has scratched something into the wall, and it essentially looks like a crescent moon, but it actually looks backwards.
Anyone recognize this?
Do we roll to see if we recognize it?
Sure, you can make a religion check to see if you recognize it.
Oh, bud.
A 21.
18.
18, 21,
15.
15,
I also got an 18.
18. Nobody recognizes it.
What?
With a 20. Wow.
It was a hard check.
That's wild.
A hard check at level 4 is like an 18. Maybe even a 17. This check is impossible.
How could any of us have passed it?
I have no idea.
Probably only if you had proficiency in religion. If you took it early
I have a
on, like monks.
+4.
I would get a 22.
22 would. 24 would have.
If I got a nat 20, I would have known.
Yes.
Got it. I fucked, I guess.
Don't
There's a
abuse the
method.
DM; he'll kill us.
No, I said I get fucked, not him, but like.
There's a method to the madness. Okay,
So,
you got 3 choices.
where the breeze is coming, is that the same path? Sorry, where the breeze is coming, is that the same path as where the marking is?
No. So there's a marking on the left tunnel. The wind is coming from the right, and there's light in the one going forward.
I have a great idea. Let's split the party.
Do we really think that is the best idea?
No, of course not, but it'd be funny.
Well,
So wind, light, and moon. I say wind is probably the way out. Let's do light.
probably. Before we go though, I'm gonna I guess I can use my some of my tools. I want to chisel a design into the tunnel the way we came, pointing the way out so that we know if we come back, because I'm guessing it's pretty confusing down here. And if we're in our be good to know.
Okay. Sounds good. You can do so. Anybody else have anything you want to do before you continue? All right. So you continue down the path that leads to the light source that you keep. And you walk for quite some time before anything changes. Once again, it's just still and dark. And for those of you without dark vision, the torches that Raina and Favyon are carrying are almost like a lifeline in the darkness. It is a little disconcerting that you can really not see anything. But I do need everyone to make a perception check.
This is that advanced darkness.
Sight, so nobody is rolling at disadvantage.
I don't see shit. I got a nat 1.
It's a good thing it's not sight.
It's I'm sorry, what was it?
Just make a perception check. A normal, no disadvantage, no advantage, nothing.
21.
Okay.
Your joke means I get to roll.
If I use divine sense,
Mm-hmm.
I can read that to you. Could I get advantage on this perception check?
What does Divine Sense do?
As an action, you can detect good and evil. Until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the hollow spell or known location of any celestial, fiend, undead within 60 feet. That is not behind total cover.
Okay. You can do that, and I will give you advantage, sure.
Woo! Okay. Better. Okay, one was a 4, the other was a 17, plus perception, so a dirty 20.
Okay. So is that? Or Raina, you got a 21, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Ori?
19.
Oh, damn. Okay. So Favyon, when you cast this sense, you get an undead ping directly next to you, pointing at Eurydice. And you also sense a handful of others, 3 or 4 other undead.
Mm-hmm.
And they are just at the edge of your divine sense, which, given the fact that it's 60 feet, also means that they are just at the edge of your light source.
Yep. Go ahead, sorry.
Notably, the they are behind you in the tunnel that you have just walked down.
I hate that.
Okay. Wait, can I do one quick thing just to figure out something?
Sure.
I'm going to take a couple steps forward. Do they fall off of my ping, or do they keep up with my ping?
They keep up with it.
Okay, so they're following us just at the edge, so we can't see.
And then, so at the same time, anyone who got 18 or higher, which I believe, but you also hear slight scraping of what sounds like claws on stone, also coming from behind you.
There are a few friends following us just beyond the light. They've been following us as far as I know.
I can hear them.
Does anyone have the light cantrip, mayhaps?
Does Eurydice turn around?
If I hear that, sure.
Then you can see it. You have dark vision.
Okay,
You can see what they can't.
Okay.
What
So,
the fuck?
so you turn around and you see essentially a tiny group of figures. They are small. They look vaguely humanoid, but their limbs are longer than a normal humanoid. So they look more proportionate to, like, you know how apes have long enough arms that they can kind of like walk on them? That's how these creatures look. And they are like pale white. They look as though they've never seen the sun. There's very little hair on their heads or bodies. And they're wearing like very tattered clothes. Some wearing cloth, some wearing leather, but they're just very tattered, broken.
Do the clothes...
And, well, hang on. There's another very important feature of these creatures. And it is that both their mouth and their eyes are sewn shut.
Do the clothes look familiar at all?
You can make a... I guess just... I have no idea what a clothes check would be. Perception? Investigation? Take your pick.
I'll do investigation, because I...
Sure.
19?
They look just kind of like traditional clothes. You do notice that they look a little bit older. Like... I don't know a better way to describe this. Almost like out of fashion.
Okay, which is something that Eurydice would know.
They've been down here a hot minute.
But as you turn to look at them, I would say they make eye contact with you.
They don't.
Their eyes are sewn shut, but they do very much look in your direction.
I'm just gonna slowly start backing away.
Okay. As you do so, and is everyone else also moving, or?
They wouldn't know.
Well, she hasn't told us anything.
That is correct.
So, no.
Still fucking here.
Yeah. So I will say, as you start to back away, they do not. You notice that they are very deliberately staying at the edge of the torchlight.
I'm gonna stay in the torchlight now. There are really creepy things.
Like, how many? How big?
How many?
4.
Brandishing weapons?
No
Mayhaps?
weapons. Don't seem like they need weapons.
They do noticeably have like very long. They're not necessarily claws. They look, like I said, they look humanoid. They look like human or an elf or something like that. But their fingernails are incredibly long, which is what you hear scratching.
She'll mention that.
Are their mouths sewn shut?
It does seem like they're following us. But just out of sight.
Their mouths, are they sewn shut like the giants?
Yes, and eyes sewn shut.
Yeah, the eyes is new.
Most unsettling.
What do we want to do?
Shall we move on towards the light?
Yeah, I mean, if these things don't like light, let's go to the light.
Yeah.
It's the best option.
Okay. So you continue on. How long does your sense last, Favyon?
It's just a round, so not long. It's just, I think it's just like a ping. I don't know how you want to play it outside of combat.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because it's just a divine.
It's just like
sense.
kind of a one and done type of thing.
I think so. Within 60 feet. It just is as an action. I don't know how long it lasts.
Okay, so we'll say that
I'll do a little digging.
it sounds like it's probably just like 6 seconds and then it's gone. But for the sake of a little bit of flavor to it, as you all start to move, you do you feel the things still at the edge of the torchlight for the next few feet.
Okay.
And then your
So
sense.
so I know they're following.
Yeah, you do
Okay.
feel pretty confident that they are following you.
Okay.
But you continue on. You get to the next stretch of your journey. Notably, the little slight claw scratchings on the stone are at this point pretty constant. As you move, essentially the only things that you are each other and those things. But you keep moving. The light is now getting brighter. You're all capable of seeing it now, even without dark vision. And eventually you come to another portion of the path that split. This time it only would go forward and to your right. The light does continue on further. So if you would like to keep going straight up, you could. And it would get you to the light. But there is another path that branches off to the right as well.
But there's one path that like goes up.
Yes.
Not
up like stairs, but like straight forward north.
Oh, straight forward. Okay, not up. Like we're coming out from underground.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, despite the fact that you've been walking probably at this point for a couple of hours, the grade has not changed. It's been flat the entire way. There's been no up and no down.
I think it's the giant sandworms.
Could be.
I want to etch another little symbol into the tunnel that we just came out of. So, like, if we need to backtrack,
That's
a little
smart.
easier.
You can do so.
Shall we go towards the lights again?
They're both lit, right? Or there's more light at the end.
Right, there's no light down that one.
Okay. Yeah, let's continue following the light.
Okay. So you continue on, and eventually the light gets brighter and brighter. And you notice what Eurydice noted earlier is it doesn't feel like it a torch. It doesn't feel like it's a flame because it's not moving. It's very static. And everything in this tunnel almost changes within like an instant. You get to what feels like the edge of this very flat stone surface that you've been on, and it looks as though it just transitioned. And you go into this space that is a very large circular room that is large enough that it's, for those of you without dark vision, it's difficult to see the other side of this like massive cavern. But the light source that you notice, you now look up. There is essentially what looks to be like an orb, a giant sphere that is embedded into the ceiling of this. And it's still not super tall. It's still only like 30 feet up. So the height of it has stayed the same, but the actual length and width of the tunnel is now a giant. And you can see that the orb itself is casting light throughout this entire area. And you can see that there are several different things kind of dotted around this giant. one of which looks to be a little mushroom forest almost. Like there's a bunch of mushrooms. You see several other.
I'm sorry, you cut out. I don't know if it's just cutting out for me.
No, it's cutting out.
Cutting out. I'm sorry. What did we miss?
Mushroom was the last thing I heard.
There's a little mushroom forest with like little mushrooms kind of dotting around in the corner. You can see the faint look of little creatures kind of crawling over the mushrooms. They look not necessarily hostile, but like they could be rats, could be mice, things like that. On the other side of this chamber, you see what looks to be like a giant crevice, like a giant crack in the ground. And that one you have no idea what it is. You can't quite see super well into that. But the thing that catches your attention the most in this chamber is directly beneath this giant orb in the ceiling. You see almost what looks like a little living quarter. You see a bed, you see a little stovetop, you see a chest at the edge of the bed, and there are a ton of tables and desks kind of littered around it, some with open books, some with like beakers and things like that. It looks to be very well kept. It looks as though someone is living down here. But the actual living space itself is actually enclosed by a very small, faintly glowing blue wall, essentially. Like it looks almost like a force field that is just surrounding this thing, and it goes all the way up in the center to the orb and then down to the ground.
The dome kind of around?
No, like it's a cylinder.
Okay, like so, okay.
Yeah, like straight cylinder.
There's a cylinder all the way up to the light.
All the way up to the light source.
Okay. Smart. But why?
I'm wondering if whoever is living here. It looks like you said, there's a bunch of desks, right, with like papers we could see presumably.
Yes.
Perhaps they're doing research. It does not appear that they are trusting the creatures down here. I would guess based on whatever the force field is.
But no one has mentioned anyone coming down here for research.
Perhaps it's private. Someone like us investigating on their own. Should I identify on the force field?
You can. I'm just going to start walking around, trying not to step on any mushrooms or anything like that.
Okay.
Oh, should I identify? I have to touch something, right?
Is correct.
Would
you like to touch the force field?
No, not now.
Okay.
Gee, I wonder why you don't want to do that.
Can I do a check to see if I've ever seen anything like this?
Yeah, you can make an Arcana check to see if you've seen any.
Guess it's gonna be a no, but we're gonna find out today. It's cocked. 21. Jesus Christ. Yeah, 15 plus 6.
21. Let me double check. I want to make sure I'm getting everything right, so let me pull this up. Sure. So with a 21, it is similar to a spell that you have seen and or heard of, but it is not 100% the same. So it reminds you very much of what's called a prismatic wall. which I think with a 21 you would know is a 9th level spell. This does not appear to be that, but it does appear to be very similar. And you would know that with the prismatic wall, if something passes through the wall, it is incredibly painful, often deadly.
I'll explain this to the group. I feel like kind of excitedly. This looks like a spell that I've seen, but it's not a spell. But do not touch it because if you do, there is a great chance that it will perhaps kill you. Or hurt very bad one or the other.
So whoever created this is powerful then.
I would assume so,
Powerful enough
based off
to
of.
survive down here. Can anyone identify the mushrooms?
Okay, I'll look at them first.
If you try to identify the mushroom, you can make a nature check.
Yeah, I'll try to identify.
That's-
7. Oh shit.
Okay.
Oh wow, 23.
Jesus.
Raina knows everything down here. I love mushrooms.
Yeah, you are doing real hot with the checks.
Just wait till combat and I'll roll ones.
It's true. So a lot of the mushrooms down here look very different than the mushrooms you would see up top. I mean, obviously they are designed in a way that like they could survive in the dark rather than up in nature. So they're much larger. They emit very faint glows, like so faint that you don't really notice them until you're next to them. But they look to be, I guess with your 23, you would recognize them as being mushrooms that grow specifically in the Underdark.
Underdark?
Yeah. And you can also safely assume that I imagine Raina's never been to the Underdark.
Maybe.
The fact that you guys went down roughly 60 feet and have not gone further down, you would know you are nowhere near where the Underdark would be.
Yeah, I've never been
higher in elevation. So it is very strange that there are Underdark mushrooms this close to the surface.
Peculiar, but I think that these are mushrooms that are only found in the Underdark. I haven't seen them myself, but based on the books that I've read, scouting manuals and such, but we're not in the Underdark. Way too high.
Hmm.
Do not like this.
I'm gonna keep
also
walking
don't like
around.
this.
I'm gonna keep walking around to the big crack in the ground, being careful.
Yeah. You looking down into it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks very much just like there's like just a crevice in the looking down, you see a little bit more and if you take some time kind of like letting your eye adjust to the darkness, you are able to see a lot more of the mushrooms that pointed out, but they are very far down. It looks as though this crevice goes hundreds, possibly thousands of feet. And you can see the very faint ripple of water of it.
Say that one more time.
You can see the very faint ripple of water.
Okay.
Interesting.
Perhaps that is the Underdark. Those thousands of miles.
Well, not miles, but feet.
Thousands of feet.
Miles. She ain't seeing shit at that distance.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe that's
Do we-
Favyon's special ability.
Yeah.
I could see fucking forever.
Distance means
Do we-
nothing.
Do we know how, like, far away from the Underdark, like, we're 60 feet down? Would Raina or anyone have any idea how much further we'd have to go?
Typically, if like to get to the Underdark, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Typically, the like, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. Like the distance down.
Yeah.
Would be roughly a couple hundred feet is when people would consider the Underdark to start. So if that is a few to 1,000 or so, it's probably Underdark.
Oh, if you would like to go to the Underdark, there it is.
But why this random crevice?
Perhaps who?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
How far does this crevice stretch? Does it look like it was natural, or does it look like this was made?
You can make a quick nature check.
Sure. 13.
I mean, it doesn't look super man-made.
Okay.
You're also not 100% sure what could have made this in the first place. Because it's not, like, looking down, there's no staircase going down. There's nothing to climb down. It's just like a sheer drop for like 1,000 feet. So you're not 100% sure how that would have been excavated.
Okay. Other than mushrooms, are there anything else to see in water?
Not that you can make out from distance.
Okay. Sure. I'll just report back.
Okay.
We have a few options. We could investigate, but I don't think we should go down there. We could stay here, wait for whoever this belongs to shows up, or we could go back and look down another tunnel.
I say we're going to be down here for some time. It's good that we know that this is here. At least if we can't get into the force field, the light will keep us safe. So if we want to go back out, venture somewhere close, and if we get tired or whatever else happens, we at least have a place to return to.
No, that's a good idea.
And speaking of the light as well, you would all know, since you've been in this room, those creatures that have been following you have set foot into this room.
Oh, yeah. They're just checking us out. They might be big, bad, and scary, but let's just not let the light go out.
That moment, all the torches.
Light all the torches at the same time.
Ooh.
That's 7 torches. That's 7 hours of light.
My brain.
Okay.
Down another tunnel?
Guess so.
Okay.
Are our friends still out there? You ready to see?
You can very easily.
All right, let's start walking out then.
That there's actually a few more.
Earlier
when you saw them, there were 4. Now there's like 6.
Can I insight check if they're like seem like they're just investigating us or guarding something?
You can try, yeah. It's going to be a tough check because they're hard to read and you have to read.
Oh, I gotta
7. It's real tough. There is no real way to read their intentions. And it's made more difficult by the fact that they are so far. They don't have eyes, essentially. Their facial expressions really don't feel too much. So are we going back down a tunnel?
Sure are.
Okay. So if you're going back into the tunnels, you can go back. There was the one that
The right.
veered off to the right just before you got into this room. Or you can go back to the four-way intersection that the moon and the other things.
I say we just do whatever's close,
Okay.
just because we don't know and we have more of those friends following us.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the first time, though, as you start to move toward the creatures that are in the tunnel, you watch as they very instinctively, and for a brief moment, as the 6 creatures that are there, 5 of them just like immediately move out of the light. The 6th one is not quite as fast. So as you step forward with your torches, it's very briefly in this light. And so you all get a much of it. So it does look, like I said earlier, humanoid. You can see the very faint like points of its ears, so it appears to maybe elven at one point. And the creature itself is like hunched over, knuckles walking, and it's wearing a very torn up piece of what looks like leather armor, but there's holes in it. You can see some wounds that have healed on this creature, so like some scars that have scarred. And as the light kind of envelops it, you hear a very faint, like it's trying to scream, but because its mouth is sewn shut, it is unable to do so. And you watch as like physical like irritation and starts to spread on the body before it very quickly jumps back into the darkness.
And no one has any light spells, huh?
Technically I have green flame blade. That would cause a light.
That would cause a light.
How long is it good for? I have Searing Smite. That will be good for about 6 seconds.
It'll be good for bonking. I mean, you two are the only magic users, so.
This is instantaneous for duration, so I think it just goes.
For duration or for casting time?
That's what I said. Hold on, let me go. That was weird.
Hi. Dog.
There's a dog on the bed now. Hello.
Oh, hello, dog.
Come here. Lay down.
Okay. And how many torches do we have?
Hold on.
We don't even know that they're hostile.
That is true. Nobody has checked.
There must be torches.
I have 10 torches.
Okay. So you're set for quite some time.
Okay.
So I don't remember exactly. I don't remember exactly how long the torches last, but it's definitely
okay.
a decent chunk of time.
It's like hours. Okay.
I'm sorry. Torches burn for 1 hour.
Yeah, that's... Yep.
And you've been in the tunnels for about 2.
And then, I mean, that's just how many torches Favyon has, though.
Yeah. Presumably most people will have a rough equivalent.
If I open up Raina's chest and put a torch in and close it, could she 3D print another torch?
I don't think she's a 3D printer.
I don't know. We have no time. I'm trying to see. I could infuse items, but what does that mean? Oh no, the thing. I already know what that is. Okay, hear me out.
Mhm.
I'll die with some magical tinkering to cause something to hold like a flame longer, like a green flake. Like I could cast green flame blade, and like I do some tinkering, and I could make it last longer.
Do you
I
have
make
the
a-
supplies for that right now?
What do you mean by supplies? Because I have a lot of things.
Like, what do you think that you would need to do that?
Okay,
Like, are
definitely.
you
I mean, I have this.
something to hold a green flame blade?
Like hold like if I could transfer the fire into like a lantern-esque
Mm,
thing, and then it would last like like this thing would help help the flame last longer.
gotcha. Let's say you can try it. You're gonna have to roll for it. And we'll say it will probably take you probably a couple of hours.
Maybe this is not a right now. This is a later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask the thing if it's okay. The one that she's got hurt. But like not out of the
Light.
Yeah.
How close you get into it?
not very close.
Okay. Are you getting closer than the 60 feet you've been staying, roughly?
No.
Okay, so 60 feet. Or your family's driving me crazy.
Yeah, Caleb and Phil are arguing in the group chat.
And we get a little whistle notification every single time one of them.
Do you want me to turn it off?
You guys
Yes.
hear it? at all?
Yeah, it's piercing.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Oh, I also have torches.
Okay.
I forgot, and tinder boxes. So I think we're okay for now. So Zach, at some point, I need to ask you because we have like the bag of holdings from like the caravan
Mhm.
from like that one lady. I have to ask you what's all in there.
I have to figure out what's all in there.
Cool, because that could change a lot of things.
I feel like because a lot of it would just be normal supplies,
That's okay.
but I feel like that would be relevant this particular. So,
Yes.
but yeah, we will figure that out. That will be something I do before the session for you.
Exactly. I was like, that's not a right now. That I just popped into my head.
I will do that for next session.
So, do we want, since we have 2 torches going, do we want Raina or Favyon to walk ahead like 30 feet, and then someone can, with the torch, stays behind 30 feet, so that way we have like 60 feet of light coverage? Or do we just want to stick together in case anything happens with one of the torches?
That's a good question.
What happened with me checking on the ground?
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet. I like how you're calling it a but yeah, so you're just like yelling at it and are you okay?
Yeah. Actually, it looks like it was an elf at one point. I'll use Elvish.
Elvish. Okay. You
I'll,
shout toward it and you watch as all 6 of these creatures heads just like snap, look at you. And you watch as the one that got hurt kind of like dips its head almost in curiosity and looks directly at you. And again, it's weird to have these creatures looking at you, knowing that their eyes are sewn shut. But it like looks and you see the mouth attempt to respond, but since it is sewn shut, it doesn't do so.
We don't see that happening because it's in the dark, right?
It is in the dark, yeah.
Eurydice can see it,
Eurydice
though.
can see a little bit extra vision. She essentially gets like an extra 30 to 60 in dim light that you guys don't get.
Right. Did she tell us about this interaction?
Yes. I don't know. I think they seem like not friendly, but not actively hostile. Like, I think they're intrigued by us.
You said they tried to talk back. Because its mouth is sewn shut, but not.
Yes.
We could try.
You could try to cut its mouth open.
We'll stay back here with the light. Have we left the room yet?
No, you guys are still in the room, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Let Eurydice go, since she's probably the fastest one to do this.
Ask it first, perhaps.
Yeah,
if
ask
would
it. Tell the others to back off in good faith, and we'll stay back here too.
Nah.
Okay, so she'll do that. Your friends will back away. Then I'll come and try and open your mouth.
Make a persuasion check.
Where'd my dice go?
I think the dog's laying up.
23.
23.
Damn.
You say this to this creature, and you watch as it like turns slightly to its friend, and you hear it tap on the stone, like a very rhythmic. And the other 5 just take a few steps back.
Okay, I'm gonna come to the edge of the, but I'm not going to go fully in the darkness. I'm not trying to hurt you, so you can't try to hurt me. I'm going to run into the light. And then she'll like go up and try and use her dex really gently.
So you essentially like go to the edge of the light. And this is a weird experience for everyone who doesn't have dark vision, because you cannot see her. And at this point you can barely see your sea. But you watch
She glows a little bit too, right?
Yeah, she does glow a little bit. Her face glows a little bit. We'll say it glows just enough that as she gets close to the creature, you can see like the faint reflection of it in the darkness. But she reaches out, and Eurydice, as your hand like passes through this barrier of darkness to try to cut at the creature, it lunges and grabs your arm, and I need you to make a dexterity throw for me.
Do we see it like lunge at her?
You probably won't see it.
25.
Jesus. For context, I rolled an.
So it jumps into the light.
It specifically does not go into the light. It grabs the part of your arm that is extended into the darkness.
Because I rolled so high, can I it into the light?
We'll say you don't necessarily pull it, but you're able to pull your arm fast enough that it slightly stumbles forward. But you also watch as the other, so it stumbles forward and white skin start to like get little irritations and redness from the light as it backs up, and the other 5 like grab and pull it out of the light. But you can very much feel on your skin where it touched you. Like you could feel the indents of like claws. Like it was prepared to just rip into you before you pulled away from it.
That is very rude.
You just hear the tapping on the stone again, like a and you watch as 2 of the figures just like vanish into the darkness. They just back up until they're gone.
We need to leave.
Yeah, can we hear the tapping?
Oh yeah, you can hear the tapping.
2 of them just walked off to who knows where. We need to leave.
I do not like this at all.
Do leave as in out of the tunnel completely? Go back
I
to
think
the
so.
or do we want to explore a little more?
I think we should full on leave.
It looked like it tried to grab you.
It did. I got out. I pulled it into the light. It got burned a little bit, and then it ran off.
Well,
And then I
now
told
we
it was
know-
very fucking rude.
well, we know that they can understand us. We know that the light hurts them. We are fine, all things considered. They won't step into the light as long as we have it. We
yeah,
still
but
have.
my concern is that they're going to get something that can step into the light.
I say let's head back towards where we came. I say let's try to stop down at least the right tunnel that we had just passed, just so we know. And if it is too deep, too big, too many passages, we won't. But now that we know the light hurts them, we can come better prepared. Yeah.
Okay.
And we can
This is
send the crow
reasonable.
down.
With a light.
Wrap the crow in Christmas lights, slap a battery pack on him, and send him on his way.
Fairy lights.
I mean, if that's what you guys want to do,
LEDs.
you're the one to die, not me.
Jury's still out on that one.
Fair enough.
All right, let's go.
All right. So you guys are going back down that tunnel that veered off to the right before the big room?
Yep.
Okay. And you're all going, like you've got the torches?
I think we should stay together. I do not trust these creatures.
Yeah,
I would
let's
do
stay
that.
together. How many torches do we have going at a time? 2?
That's
One?
it too.
2?
I think
Okay.
2 for safety.
Have I been supplying all of them or not?
I feel like I use one, you use one. So like,
Well, if we've been in the tunnel for 2 hours and we've had 2 going, we've had 4. And if I'm the only one supplying them, then we have 6 left.
I have torches. That's what I mean. Like I have that's what I meant. Like I take one out of my pack.
Great. Okay. Rad.
And who knows actually how many. Oh, hold up. What the fuck is Candle of the Deep?
I have no idea. Oh,
I
that's
have that in my.
that's the magic candle that doesn't go out underwater.
But it doesn't burn forever. But we do have something else that produces light.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I would guess if we have a bunch of normal supplies, like from the caravan, this is me just guessing, there are probably some torches in there too, I would guess.
Yeah,
Holy
there'll be
shit, we
some.
can light on fire.
We have a decent supply. I don't think we have to be too worried. At the worst case scenario, I mean, I could probably light something on fire and then hold it in my hand.
That is
It
accurate.
will work. I mean, I'm not going to burn.
Okay. So you guys are walking down this path?
Yeah.
Okay. How are we walking down? What order are we going in? How are we walking together?
I
Are
think
we
you're
doing
ready.
like
I think you're
Go
to
ahead.
see what's go first.
Okay.
I don't mind bringing up the rear.
Yeah. I think it should be Eurydice, Favyon, our Barbarian.
Or and then I'll bring up the rear.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good to me. So you start walking down the path. I'm assuming you're to see you're like at the edge of the light source,
Yeah.
not fully in the darkness. Okay. You start walking for quite a bit of time. Every once in a while, turn back and look to see, and the creatures are in fact still following.
How many?
4.
Okay. so that you didn't come.
Rude assholes. I try to be nice.
And look at what they do.
Fuckers.
But you continue walking, and eventually you get to another opening in the tunnel. So it's not as large a room as the one you. And there's no light source in this one, but it widens just a little bit into like an actual room shape. And I need a couple of things from everybody as we walk into this room. I need.
Hold on, before we walk in.
Sure.
Can we tell there's a room coming? Like we can see from the walls that something is about to expand and open?
Yes.
Or is it like a door? Okay. I want to do another divine sense.
Okay, you do so. So you still sense the creatures
Behind.
Okay. Yeah, you would still sense the creatures at the back.
Yep.
But you don't sense any like on the other side of the light source.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just tell everyone that. We still have our friends following us, but it doesn't feel like, at least for the next 60 feet forward, that there's anything else present. At least not that I can detect.
This is good.
Okay. So you guys walk into the room.
Yeah.
So as you walk in, you do need some things from some people. For those of you who are not carrying a torch, I need you to make a dexterity save. And for those of you that are carrying a torch, I need you to make a strength throw.
Ooh. Saving throw, you said?
Yes.
16.
Okay.
13.
Okay.
Nat 20, 22.
I shouldn't have rolled that low.
Okay.
It's Talia's fault.
Ori,
7.
7. So Ori and Favyon, you unfortunately fail your checks, but Raina and Eurydice. So a couple of things kind of happen. Like the first thing that you notice is something falls from the sea, and it lands directly on top of Ori. Like two separate things. Eurydice is able to just move, unfortunately, and is knocked prone.
Okay, you're breaking up a lot.
Really bad.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Can you guys hear us now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, two things fall from the ceiling. One, Eurydice dodges. The other falls on top of, is knocked prone. We're breaking up again.
One
Exact
falls on
same
top of
spot.
Ori and she's knocked prone. Is
She's
what I
knocked
made
prone.
out. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Ori is knocked prone. The other things, one thing literally comes almost like this is gonna be a dumb reference, like swinging like Tarzan on a vine.
Hell yeah.
Swings in and grabs the torch from Favyon. And you watch as it is one of the little gremlin creatures. So their skin just starts burning, but they take it and just like immediately put it out. Another one attempts to grab the one from Raina, but as Raina's able to just like rip it back.
Can I get an attack of opportunity? Because I got a natural.
Sure, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I want to swing on this thing. It's like hand is a mace, and I just want to.
Yeah.
My hand is a mace.
Does a 17 hit?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool. Let's do damage. A whole 5 damage.
Okay. Mark that. But you all also notice as you get to your light, it seems the creatures kind of had a plan set in So as these things swing through, take the lights, put them out, except for Raina's because it doesn't get put out, you just see reflected in the very edges of the light what seems to be a dozen of these creatures. They are forming the edge of your light source. And I think we're going to end it there for today. Because we do got to get going. But next time we can deal with... also, because of the marching order that you guys were in, Eurydice is now officially out of the light.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Eurydice is out of it. Favyon is like just at the edge of the dim light. And then Ori and Raina.
Wait, this thing on Ori, right? Something like, did a thing drop onto her, like a creature?
Yeah. Do you want a quick thing? Hang on. I can actually show you a picture. So there's two things that fell down. So the picture I'll show you is going to look like they're slightly smaller than what they actually are, but it looks like this.
Fuck. Is it like having a rough time in the light?
It doesn't appear to be.
Oh, great.
Does not appear to be.
I knew it.
Yeah, so we'll wrap things up. Catch up with that next time. Thanks for the thumbs up, Ori. Nobody checked.
Hi, Ethan.
Hi, Ethan.
What do you mean? Look at it. It's cute.
It's cute.
That's cute.
He just showed us a bag with elephants on it.
Ethan.
What?
Where are you going?
He's going somewhere, man.
I think Phil's taking him somewhere, which means that Phil's about to come down here, which means there's probably going to be yelling. Just a heads up.
Yeah. Such is the way. Anyway. Yeah, you don't know. Eye on the eggs.
I cast identify.
That bag of eggs.
It's just Phil dying in the background. It's fine.
Phil, are you good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The perils of...
Not to die.
Okay, do you need any help?
Jesus. Anyway.
Sound like Howard?
Yes.
Wear a hat?
Yeah.
Please hold.
You're so come over here.
Come here.
Come here.
Come here. Come on, please. Hi. Yeah. Hola.
Yeah.
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 Bye bye. Bye.
Okay.
Fun.
Bye. It says you choose one object that you must touch that will cast me to spell. If it is magic item or some other magic item, you learn its properties. Whether it requires attunement. Have a good day. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item. If the item was created by a spell, you learn which item spell created it. Yeah.
Okay.